Stealth engines whispered across West Asian skies when a formation of United States B-2 aircraft completed a chain of mid-air refuelings and delivered GBU-57 bunker-buster bombs onto the Fordo enrichment site. Each warhead, weighing more than 13 tons, is designed to penetrate deep rock and reinforced concrete before detonating. The strike marked the first direct involvement of United States forces in the latest Israel-Iran confrontation, turning a limited exchange into a wider crisis overnight. Fordo has long been regarded as the most resilient element of Iran's atomic program. Carved into a mountain and shielded by 4 reinforced layers topped by a steel plate 2 meters thick, the installation stores uranium enriched to a level approaching 84%. For more than 1 decade, foreign intelligence services recognized its existence yet admitted little could be done without risking a massive regional backlash. Washington's planners answered that dilemma by pairing low-observable bombers with the only conventional munitions judged capable of breaching Fordo's defenses. 2 bombs guided to the same impact point within little more than 1 meter of accuracy represent an unprecedented feat of aerial coordination. Iran's radar network scarcely reacted. 7 days earlier, Israeli F-35 fighters had disabled the country's S-300 brigades with electronic jamming and precision strikes, eliminating launchers and command vehicles. Tehran's domestically produced Bavar system, advertised as able to track targets more than 400 kilometers away, failed to detect the approaching aircraft. The loss of a senior Iranian officer in those earlier raids further cramped defensive decision-making. The immediate strategic question is how Iran will respond. Officials in Tehran have previously warned that any direct United States action would prompt very dangerous consequences. The most frequently cited option is closing the Strait of Hormuz, a waterway narrower than 40 kilometers at its tightest point yet responsible for roughly 1/5 of global seaborne crude. A blockade, even temporary, could propel oil prices beyond $150 per barrel and ripple across supply chains already under strain. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Navy's fast attack craft and shore-based anti-ship missiles give Iran credible means to threaten commercial traffic, though doing so would risk alienating important energy customers in Asia. The air raid also underscores a lesson drawn from earlier non-proliferation dramas. Facilities can be destroyed, but specialized knowledge is harder to erase. Analysts recall that after Israel demolished Iraq's Osirak reactor in 1981, Baghdad resurrected elements of its program in more concealed locations within 5 years. Iran's engineers, having mastered centrifuge design and enrichment techniques, may restart elsewhere, especially if diplomatic pathways collapse. Why then did Washington act when it did? Publicly, the United States administration had given Tehran a 2-week window to restart talks. Israeli leaders argued that timetable was too generous and hinted they would strike alone. Simultaneously, Israel claimed it had disabled roughly 1/2 of Iran's missile launchers, creating what it called a fleeting opportunity. Facing pressure from an ally and internal voices convinced that Iran was weeks from a weapon, decision-makers in Washington chose a kinetic demonstration. That demonstration risks cascading effects. Iran maintains ties with non-state actors capable of retaliating far beyond its borders. The Houthi movement can menace Red Sea shipping lanes. Fighters in Lebanon possess rocket arsenals that place northern Israel within reach. Prolonged skirmishes would stretch United States naval assets and could draw Gulf Arab states deeper into the fray. The conflict's center of gravity, once confined largely to Gaza and southern Lebanon, threatens to expand across several theaters at once. For China, the calculus is multi-layered. First is energy security. China imports a significant share of its crude from the Gulf, and any sustained disruption at Hormuz would raise fuel costs at home and complicate growth targets. Temporary spikes may grant shipping companies higher freight rates, yet the longer-term drag on manufacturing and transport outweighs such windfalls. Second is geopolitical posture. Beijing has cultivated partnerships with both Tehran and Israel while emphasizing non-interference. Rapid evacuation of more than 1,600 citizens from Iran suggests contingency planning is already in motion. Public statements urge restraint, but a prolonged conflict may force China to clarify where neutrality ends and strategic commitments begin. Third lies in the precedent for global governance. The latest strike occurred outside a United Nations mandate, reinforcing concerns that major powers may increasingly bypass international forums. Should force replace negotiation as the default tool, multilateral initiatives, from climate talks to trade facilitation, could suffer collateral damage, undermining the stability that underpins China's outward-looking economic policies. Financial markets have started to price in the uncertainty. Freight rates for crude carriers surged in double-digit percentages within a single session, and bullion reached peaks unseen since earlier crises. At street level, motorists from Shenzhen to Shanghai may soon confront steeper pump prices, a vivid reminder that distant ordnance can translate into domestic costs. As stealth bombers return to their bases and regional actors weigh their next moves, China faces a strategic puzzle: how to shield its economy, protect its citizens, and uphold principles of sovereignty without being drawn into confrontation. Investing in diversified energy routes, from pipeline corridors in Central Asia to liquefied gas terminals in Southeast Asia, offers one buffer. Engaging in behind-the-scenes diplomacy with Gulf partners and European stakeholders provides another. Ultimately, the Fordo strike highlights the fragile balance between deterrence and escalation. While Washington and Tel Aviv celebrate a tactical gain, Tehran retains options that could upend shipping lanes and inflame proxy fronts. China, like many nations, must navigate the fallout with prudence, recognizing that in a landscape shaped by bunker-buster blasts and contested straits, the line between regional conflict and global disruption has grown perilously thin.